How's it going, people? Today we're going to be talking about the different planes of existence that exist within yourself and outside of yourself. So, essentially, different bodies that you exist in. You have a different body in each one of these dimensions. We call them the planes of existence or the layers to reality. They are basically layers. There are layers to reality, and we must understand this before you can understand on going further into practices like astral projection and stuff like that. So essentially, everything begins from the highest source of light. It's basically a projection of light. So imagine this is the highest plane, then it falls down into the lower planes. Essentially, that's what it kind of like is. So we have a fourfold nature. We are mental, astral, etheric, and physical beings. We are not just a physical being. This physical body is part of the physical realm or layer to reality. There are higher levels to reality, which are these. Essentially, people only think, which is the mental plane, that they are the physical body, but the physical body is just the lowest plane of existence. Our minds do not exist in the physical realm, it operates in a higher dimension. So we have the spiritual realm, which is not actually considered a realm or a layer of reality because this is the void, this is nothingness. Then out of the nothingness turns into infinite potential, which is the realm of the mind. The mind has infinite potential. It can think anything, and anything is true within the mind. And that's the realm of the mind. It's the first dimension where things start to become possible in the universe. So essentially, the universe is your mind. And that's what the universe is. It's all mental. It's one giant mind. Then we have the astral. This is where the mind manifests into some sort of form. So like imagination. So the mental plane is the thought, the astral plane is the imagination, the etheric plane is the energy, the physical plane is the physical manifestation. So the mental plane is the highest plane, essentially. And this is where infinite potential is, like I just said, and it's shared. It's shared with the collective consciousness. We all share this mental realm of thought. So we do not think thoughts; we receive thoughts based off this mental plane. So our mind is not in our brain. Our brain is not our mind. They're two completely separate planes. The brain is a part of the physical realm. But this mind is essentially a spiritual, invisible force or power which we can use and utilize to bring things into manifestation occurring in the physical realm. So it's the plane of thoughts and information and form. It's pretty much formless. Thoughts are very subtle things. They're not physical. The astral plane, this is the realm of imagination. This is where the thoughts from the mental plane start to manifest into into some sort of form, like a imagination. Your imagination is a realm. It's a realm. So when you visibly think of an apple, the thought is in the mental plane. The inner vision is the astral plane. And essentially, we are creating out of astral matter when we when we imagine something out of astral matter. And we are using the mind to do so. It's basically where thought forms start to manifest. And this is where the light start to come together to create, some sort of lucid forms. It's the realm of our imagination. It exists within our subconscious mind. So our subconscious mind is connected to all of these different planes, these layers to reality. Then you have the etheric plane. This is the plane that is connected to the spiritual realm, the astral, and the realm of the physical. That's what it essentially is. And it's connected. It's connecting these two planes together. It acts as a connecting medium. It's the realm of where magnetism takes place, where plasma and energy and frequency takes place. This is the realm of energy. So, in simple words, it's a physical and spiritual. What's the word for it? It's a physical and spiritual element. It's very subtly physical, but it's very subtly spiritual, or astral, another word for spiritual. That's why we see it in the word either, because you're on either side, the spiritual or physical, or together, because you're joining the two worlds together, together. The physical plane, this is the plane of materialism. This is also called the material plane. This is where physical manifestation takes place. From the mental plane, or the mind of God, manifests down, and this is the world of effect and outcomes. So this is the plane where all of the universe takes place in this realm. It manifests physically in this realm. Everything you see is already manifested in this plane. It's already there. It's the realm of effect. Everything in the physical plane is an effect of the mental plane. It all begun in the mental plane. Just like the things you see around you, your phone, your laptop, whatever you're looking at, that was an idea within the mental plane of someone's mind. And then they manifested it physically. So essentially, this world is the world of effect. Everything in this world is a product of your mind in the mental plane. It's the densest plane. It's very low vibration. So it's personified as hell. The physical plane is personified as hell. Because it is essentially hell. It's the physical plane. So I forgot to mention that the lower you go, the more lucid. I think I have a slide on this actually. The lower you go, the more physical and gross and dense it becomes. The higher you go, the more lucid and formless and spiritual it becomes. This is where we get the saying of, as above, so below. What happens above happens below. Happens in the mind, happens in the astral, happens in the etheric, happens in the physical. Essentially, every plane is affecting every plane. What happens above happens below, but also what happens below happens above. So the words I am saying now in this physical realm is also having an effect on your mental plane, on your mental mind, because they're words, they're affecting you, they're going into your mind. That's why words cast spells. So an example of how these planes work is, take, for example, this chair you see here. The mental plane is the thought of the chair. The astral plane is the imagination of the chair. So think the astral plane is like a plane where all of the possible chairs that could possibly be made exist there. It's the realm of imagination. The etheric plane is now the energetic blueprint of what you want to manifest, that specific chair. And then the physical plane is the physical manifestation of the chair. So that is essentially how the planes actually work. It's quite simple. However, they're not outside of you. You exist in one of these planes. You exist in all of these planes. You have a body in every single dimension. You just haven't woken it up yet. And this is what we'll be going into later on into this course. We're going to be talking about the astral plane in lesson 2 of the Astral Projection series. So the astral plane, as I told you in the last one, we went over the basics. Now I'm going to go into a bit more detail about what the astral plane is and what to expect, what is there. It is the realm of the collective and personal subconscious. So all of the things that you keep in your subconscious mind, all of the things that in everyone else's subconscious mind, is essentially manifested there as some sort of energy or something. Emotions, dreams, and inner images. emotions manifest as energy on the astral plane. Now, emotions also manifest as demons. If you continuously feel negative about a certain thing and give emotional and mental energy to this thing that you cannot give up in your mind, you will create some sort of astral form which will latch onto your astral body and influence you. So essentially, you are creating your own demons through mental and emotional energy. Dreams. Dreams are when you dream, your astral body is slightly hovering above your physical body. And a dream, when you no longer consciously control it, but you're experiencing the dream, this is your subconscious creating the dream. So your dreams are created from your subconscious if you are not controlling them. If you control them, you can create them consciously and create a whole dream yourself and a whole world. And essentially, what you're doing in the astral plane when you dream, you are creating a whole world and a reality. That's what you can do in the astral. You can do anything. And inner images. So when you think or imagine something, that screen in your mind, that is the astral plane. You are creating out of astral matter. It's the realm of imagination. Essentially, it creates the matrix of the material world. Why do I say that? Is because the energy manifested on the astral plane has influence on the material plane. So, like I said, when you create demons, you are essentially creating an energy which will manifest and influence your physical body on the physical plane. So essentially, the collective programs in people's subconscious and the collective mental thoughts is creating an astral energy which has a spell on the material world. That's how it's working. It's the realm of imagination, as I've already gone over, thought forms, and it's your light body. This is what we call the light body. It is the body made of light. All of the bodies are made of light, but the physical body is the lower vibrational light body. It is essentially the light body, and it's where thought forms manifest. It's where the thoughts you are thinking are taking form. This is where they are things. This is why we say thoughts are things, because they are essentially astral matter. And this is why we call the mind the third eye. It is an eye because it can see into these planes, these lower planes and the higher planes. And it's important to understand that the mind has access to all of these planes, all of them. And that's why it's the all-seeing eye. It sees all things. Now, the astral plane is split into higher, middle, and lower. So the lower astral plane is essentially where more material things are going on. This is where the thoughts that are based on material things are. I'm not saying it's hell. This is not, because it's lower, it doesn't mean it's negative. If you're thinking about creating a thing, creating a physical thing, and you're imagining this thing, you're essentially using the lower astral plane. It's more material based. So most people when they astral project and when they're seeing this realm, but in the astral plane, they're in the lower astral plane. The middle and the higher is when things are more formless. You can still create there, but it's depending on the vibrations of these imaginations, and the vibrations of these thoughts that you are manifesting will depend whether it goes to middle, higher, or lower. So we have beings and entities within the astral plane. This is where we get, all the myths about ghosts, spirits. This is essentially what they're talking about. All of these myths are talking about this plane, which exists in the subconscious mind and can only be accessed through the mind. The two eyes could never see into this plane, only accessed through the mind or the third eye, whatever you want to call it. And there are beings there are souls there are minds there which manifest. So first type of beings which exist in the lower astral plane doesn't mean they're negative, doesn't mean they're demons. It just means they operate around materialism, which is the elemental beings. These are the beings of the four elements, not the fifth element. The fifth element's ether. These are entities of the fifth of the four elements. And what essentially they are the energy behind, they are the forces, the astral forces behind the physical four elements: earth, air, water, and fire. They are beings of the elements, and they assist the elements in the material plane. Another type of being is etheric being. They exist in the astral and the etheric plane, and if they want, they can manifest in the material plane. This is where we get all of the myths about trolls, gnomes, nature beings, little nature creatures, which are little humans. This is where we get all of these myths from, because there are beings in the etheric plane which have the ability to materialize at their will. They can materialize into physical form whenever they want, and they can go back straight into the ether and become formless. And they manifest as gnomes, nature spirits. They essentially look after nature. And they because we are so disconnected today, we will no longer make contact with these beings because we're so ignorant. We're not on their level. We're not advanced. They will stay away from us. It's like Yoda, for example. All of these little creatures that they tell us about in the movies, they're talking about etheric beings, fairies. All of this stuff is all etheric. And essentially what they do is assist nature and make sure nature is doing its thing. Jinns. These are powerful beings. These are very mentally and spiritually advanced. They are very powerful mentally. They hold a lot of mental power. And essentially, these beings exist in the lower planes, and they have a lot of negative demons below them. So there are hierarchies within demonology. This is called demonology now. And they can, like any astral form, can manifest as anything as they think. Whatever they think, they can appear as. So as you see here, you've got, the head of a human and a cat and a toad and spider legs. Whatever they want to manifest as, they will manifest. This is why we see the goat head all the time in the music industry, or the goat. Just remember, it's basically symbology for these demons within the astral plane, these powerful beings. And yes, you can summon these through magic. You can summon them by figuring out their true names and calling them and doing these magic rituals. You basically what you call them in your mind's eye, and they can appear in front of you, and you can ask them to do things. This is all black magic. So essentially, this is what jinns are. They're very powerful, very, very powerful beings. However, the astral plane is always in correspondence with yourself. So if you ever do manifest there and access this astral plane, you will match your vibration. You will match your thought forms. You will match everything. Whatever vibration you're vibrating at, you go into the astral plane, you will see and meet these vibrations. This is why you'll never, ever encounter a very, very advanced spiritual or mental being. You'll never encounter them because you are simply not vibrating on their frequency. So this is why you'll never meet. You will meet whatever your vibration is. So another type of being is just normal spirits. Just normal, they're not negative, they're not bad. Some of them are neutral. And they will manifest as anything as they want. They will create, linger around you, whatever. These are the types of beings. Then you have thought forms. You just basically have thought forms which are just manifested there. collective thought forms, or they could be your thought forms. They're just basically mental programs. So every single program, every human believes is essentially an energy or astral entity. So, Jesus, everyone believes in Jesus and gives this Jesus mental and emotional energy. That is a being on the astral plane. That's how it works. So another one is just a subconscious aspect of self. You might see a demon, but it could just be a subconscious aspect of yourself. It could just be a negative thought form which you have not let go for years and constantly fed into a mental thought loop. This is what I mean by demons. Like, you literally can create your own demons through thought loops and giving mental energy and mental and emotional energy to things. So in dreams, for example, if Jesus appears to you, if you believe Jesus your whole life, you believe he's true, and in your dream Jesus appears to you, Jesus comes to you and you come out of that dream thinking, oh, I've just met Jesus. It wasn't Jesus. It was an aspect of yourself. It was a belief that you have deeply rooted within your subconscious, coming to yourself and manifesting as something and coming to you. It's yourself meeting yourself. A lot of the things in the astral plane is yourself. That's what we need to understand. Lesson 3, the etheric plane. This plane is a very subtle plane. It is the base of all physical matter. It is the spirit of the world, what the ancients called. It connects the physical plane to the astral spiritual plane. So essentially, this ether, this ethereal life force spirit, this field of an ever-present energy, is what gives life to the whole of the world. The material plane is fed from this ethereal plane. It is the ethereal plane which gives life to everything. And it's the base of all physical matter. So it is a part of the physical plane. It is the most subtle and fine aspect of the material plane. So, in other words, it is like the last degree of something that can be considered physical. It is very subtle, and it cannot be seen by the two eyes. It is basically what the ancients called the life force, the spirit, or the chi, the prana, and it's this energy which feeds everything. That everything is alive because of this etheric plane. Our ethereal body is what feeds our physical body, which are the chakras. The chakras are etheric centers that give life to the physical body. These centers connect the astral body to the physical body. This is why in the Bible they're called 7 seals. These are the 7 seals, because behind these 7 seals is your astral form. It's sealing your spirit, sealing your astral body, your true self. So essentially, everything on the astral plane, okay, on the astral plane, the intentions and the thought forms are charged with energy, ethereal energy, and come into effect on the ethereal plane and then the material plane. It's very hard for me to describe what the ethereal plane is. But essentially, every physical object, every physical thing you see around you has an energetic, ethereal body around it. The ethereal plane is like a blueprint of everything. It's a blueprint, an energetic blueprint. Everything is recorded with this ethereal plane. And that's essentially what it is. It is the connecting medium, the bridge between the physical and the astral. This is why we see the word ether in together, or either you're on either side of the ether, the physical or astral. It's the bridge. And when our chakras are not in a line, because these centers are controlling the organs and nerves in that particular area of the body. So they are essentially mini brains within your body, these centers. They have consciousness. And when they are not in line with each other, there is a constant war. And so the bottom chakra, the root chakra, is using these centers, abusing these ethereal centers. We are not in a line with the higher mind, with the mind and the ethereal centers. So essentially, we need to get in line, our mind in line, and our bodies in line with these ethereal centers. And when we do this, the ethereal plane can charge our body to function properly. We now have balanced energy, and no energy is being wasted through being over sexual, overeating, because essentially this is what these lower three chakras are. And what we need to do is raise our consciousness outside of these centers and balance them and use them in balance, in harmony, and no longer abuse them. So yeah, that's what the ethereal plane is, people. And when you see that eye in the triangle, the eye, the all-seeing eye in a triangle, the triangle means the ethereal plane, the eye is the consciousness of the mind. Eye in the triangle represents the eye looking through the ether into the material plane, or vice versa. It could be in the material plane looking through the ether into the astral. So that's what the all-seeing eye is. Astral projection. This is a very important one. This is the one we've all been waiting for. The astral plane is a reflection of your vibration, as I mentioned before. Frequency matches. Everything you think of, the thoughts that you tap into, the emotions that you feel, your overall vibration is what you match. If you are going into the astral plane and with negative thoughts, negative emotions, greed, hate, fear, you will see horrible entities which will probably torment you and probably make you scared, because that's what they're doing. You're matching frequencies. That's why we call it a mindset. You're setting your mind to frequencies. What frequency are you setting your mind to? What are you tapping into? So essentially, we need to raise our vibration before we astral project. And the easiest way to, raise your vibration in your mental and emotional state is turning off the mind. Every day we need to turn off the mind, meditate, turn off the mind, and then after we turn off the mind, we need to be thinking, feeling, and saying positive things. Never say anything negative, ever. What's the point? There's no point in saying anything negative. It will only come back to you, and it will only program your mind to be negative. Always stay positive, no matter what situation. There's a duality, there's a good and a bad for every situation. There is no bad. Yes, there's bad, don't get me wrong, but don't focus on that. Focus on the good of every situation. There's always an advantage to what's happening to you. So that we need to raise our vibration before we astral project, or else you're gonna see some horrible things. Mental health, like I just said, mental health is very, very, very important before we astral project. And essentially, if you have very, very bad, anxiety, or what's another one? Something that you're not letting go of in your mind and emotionally. Like I said before, your mind produces demons in the astral plane if you are giving mental energy to something for long periods of time. So if you have a very, you haven't forgiven yourself for something you did and it really gets you down and depressed, that will come to you. You will see that. Okay. So what you need to do is address that beforehand before you astral project, you need. I'll make another video on that, on how to release trauma and release, all these negative things in your mind. But yeah, we need to do that before you astral project. Emotions. Fear is a bondage. Fear is a bondage to your physical, material body. You cannot leave your body in fear. This is why everything they do, the news, the things they put online, the things the algorithm shows you, is all fear-based. It's to keep your consciousness operating out of that lower root etheric center, because that is essentially binding and keeping your mind stuck in third dimensional awareness. Fear is a bondage. When Jesus is walking on water, which is just walking on top of the ether, astral projecting, and he's telling Peter how to walk on water, how to leave his body, what does Peter do? He fears. He starts to be scared. And what does he do? He falls back into the water, which is the body. He falls back into the ether, to the physical plane. That's what it's about. It's talking about walking on top of your emotions, emotional control. We'll make another video on that as well. Fear's a bondage. Remove all fear. It's an illusion. You don't need to fear. You will never, ever, ever die. You are an eternal being. You will never, ever die. So do not fear death. Do not fear anything. Okay? So astral projection is using the mind to project your consciousness into the astral plane. Everything exists in the mind. All worlds are within the mind. Every dimension is in the mind. All of the products, all of the planes, like I just said, the etheric, astral, physical, they all exist in the mind. This world you're in right now, the material plane, exists in your mind. It's all within yourself. It's a dream, essentially. And essentially what this world actually is a creation within the astral plane. It's what we do it all the time. Every time you dream, you're creating a world from the astral plane. You do it, but you just don't do it consciously. So essentially, what astral projection is an altered state of consciousness. You're altering your state of consciousness. Every time you dream, you're altering your state of consciousness. Every time you have a lucid dream or whatever mystical experience you've ever had, you are altering your consciousness. This physical plane is an altered state of consciousness. That's what it is. It's the third dimensional consciousness. Astral projection is just an altered state. You're altering your mind. You're altering what you're seeing, what you're perceiving. So here's a method. Lie down with nothing touching. So you don't want any of your body parts touching. Close your eyes and meditate. Turn off all thoughts. When I say meditate, it's not the right word. There's no really word for it. People associate meditation with sitting there, like just sitting. But no, it's basically turn your mind off as if you were going to go to sleep. But keep your conscious mind awake. Relax every muscle and release all tension. So how I say to do this is 10 minutes, get in the present moment. Before you even lie down, you should get yourself in the present moment. Say, I am here right now, nothing else matters. Repeat that until you're in the present moment. Then lie down with nothing touching. Close your eyes and turn off all thoughts. Once you've gained this non-thought state for about 10 to 15 minutes, you then want to mentally visualize a box. A big, heavy box with a hard metal lid, and throw everything you think about yourself in there. Throw your body in there, every material thought, every material association, every emotion, every issue you have. Throw everything into this box. You do not need it. And if you don't, you will not astral project successfully. You have to remove all bondages, every bondage you have, everything, just throw everything away. Then once you are there, you want to begin to think of nothingness. Then just do this for another 15 minutes until it feels as if your consciousness, your mind is awake. You will no longer feel your body. Okay. When you get in this state where you no longer feel your body, this is when you want to use your mind and imagine, okay, of drawing a circle with your hand, but not your physical hand. Just imagine you're drawing a circle. This is a starter practice. You cannot go straight into the astral plane. You will not do it. You have to train your imagination. So draw a blue circle and keep drawing stuff. And if you do that pretty successfully, start drawing something more complex, like a star or whatever. Train your imagination, because when you do this, you're creating focus, and you need to focus in the astral plane. Okay. So once you do this, you can do this for a couple nights before you actually astral project. What this is doing is training your mind to operate in this imaginational plane. Okay. This is another method. This is a bit more advanced. Like I said, get in the present moment, lie down with nothing touching, like the same process as before. Close the eyes and meditate and turn off all thoughts. Then visualize the mental box and throw in everything you think about yourself into the box and close it. Then turn away from the box. Once you are relaxed, and once your mind, and you no longer feel your body, your mind is your consciousness, you're just pure consciousness, not the body. Use your imagination to imagine yourself pulling a rope that is in the sky and that you are leaving your physical body. Image pulling yourself up a rope or climbing the rope. You have to do this mentally. You have to understand that these planes are all mental. Just like how you move your physical body around, you're moving your physical body around because your mind is telling it to do so. It's slightly different within these astral planes. You're still using your mind, but because you haven't activated this body, there's not much of a connection between your mind and your astral body. So imagine pulling this rope. Imagine your hands pulling up this rope out of your body. And once you are there, you might leave your body. You'll feel like you will no longer feel your physical form. You might not see much because your mind's eye has not been trained to see in this astral plane. You might not see much. It might appear white. You might see colors. A good indication that you're essentially ascending into the astral plane, or you've altered your consciousness, you will see just colors moving weirdly, like patterns, colors. You'll see all sorts of things. Okay. So that's a good indication. Okay, here's another method. Like I said, same process as before, but just a different ending. So get yourself in the present moment for 10 minutes. I'm here right now. Nothing else matters. Then lie down with nothing touching. Close eyes and meditate and turn off all thoughts. Place everything into the box once you have gained this. Once you're in that sort of meditative state, put everything in the box. Release all tension, all emotions, all problems, put into the box and turn away from it. Imagine that. Once you are relaxed, you want to do this all again. Get into that meditative state until you no longer feel your body. Until it's just the pure mind, the pure consciousness. No thoughts, just pure consciousness. Focus your attention on the middle of the brain, the place of the consciousness. And shake mentally. Do not shake your physical body, but shake mentally until your soul or your light body leaves the body. Shake with all of your willpower. So essentially what you're trying to do here is shake your mind out of, or this astral body out of the physical body. And just shake with all of your mental willpower until you are fully out of the body. Like I say, you will see these strange colors, or you might even feel a tingling sensation. A tingling sensation. That's your energy body, it's your etheric body. And another one, what was I going to say then? My mind's just gone blank. Yeah, so essentially when you are in this plane, like I said before, you will not see much. You have to train your eye, your mind. It's all based on imagination. Whatever you think, you manifest there. You can create anything you want in these planes, anything you want. But make sure you are doing things in harmony with others, yourself, and be careful, because the things that you are doing there will have an effect on your material life. What happens above happens below. So if an entity asks you what you are doing, they will ask you mentally. If you do encounter any beings, never tell them you're astral projecting. Because when you do tell them you're astral projecting, they might follow you back into your body. You will see other people astral projecting, you'll see beings, you'll see other things. Just be careful. Don't look into mirrors, because you might get lost. And don't do anything to this one. So returning back to your physical body, if you just want to return, just think of your physical body and you'll fall back into it. Or as soon as you start to fear something, you will fall back into your body. But essentially what it feels like is when you leave the body, that was what I was going to say when my mind went blank. Before you leave the body, your heart might be racing. When your heart is starting to race, you're starting to fear. Okay, because you've installed a fear of death, because it does kind of feel like death. Well, that I can imagine, but your heart will start to feel beating really quick. And if it does do that, just calm yourself down and try it again. And if you want to return back to your body, just think about returning back to your body, and you'll be there at the click of a finger. Is mind creating spirit and matter. The universe is mental. Everything exists in the mind. What spirit is the energy, and basically the energy of mind, of the thinking mind. Spirit and matter are polar opposites. They are two vibrational states of the one substance, which is mind. Mind creates matter, mind creates spirit. Mind is the ultimate source of the universe. Man is made in the image of both the divine and physical. He is spiritual, he is physical. Everything is spiritual and physical. Everything physical has a spiritual, life-giving essence to it. Behind your body is the spirit. Without the spirit, you would be a dead meat sack. You wouldn't be able to move. Behind the animal is the spirit, the all life-giving force coming from the divine mind. Now, man is made in the image of both matter and spirit combined. Spirit is infused with matter. Like all things, however, man has the mind to be conscious of the spirit that dwells within. Animals cannot do this. Animals are purely stuck to their animal instinct. They are not self-aware of the spirit within them. They are only aware of They are only aware of their immediate environment, their physical reality. The animal. This is why animals symbolize our lower nature. But we have a heel, hell, physical. We have a head in the heavens where the spirit is. We can raise our consciousness above the animal self to the spirit, to the divine. Now, matter is a way of thinking. So is spirit. If you have a very low vibrational consciousness, your mind is directed to the lower aspects of consciousness, sex, lust, power, money, fame. This is all matter. This is a materialistic way of thinking. You must tune your mind to the higher aspects of consciousness. Tune your mind to spirit. There are two ways of thinking. Now, you are both of them combined. You need to find balance between them. This is what Leonardo da Vinci is depicting, man being both spirit and matter. The circle is eternal, beginning no ends. The square is limited, beginning and end. The body is in the square because the body is limited. The body is not eternal. It's mortal. The circle has no beginning, no end. It is immortal. The spirit is raised above the square, representing spirit over matter, the spirit controlling the matter. Spirit controlling the body. We don't want the body controlling the spirit, the body controlling the mind. That's the lower mind. That's 666. This is the Freemasonic square and compass. We have the compass for the circle and the square for the square, which is matter. Spirit and matter combined with the G, the generative principle, or God, or geometry. Also, Leonardo da Vinci depicting the eye of Ra, the eye of Horus, the small pupil, because when you're in light, when you're in a very light environment, your pupils go small. This is the physical eye of man, the conscious mind, the physical eyes. Then you have the inner eye, the spiritual eye that sees in the darkness, that gives perception. That's the large pupil, because when you're in darkness, the pupils go large. You have the eye of Horus, the eye of Ra. You have the physical eyes that you look with, and you have the inner eye that gives you perception. You have black and white. Black represents matter, white represents spirit. Spirit and matter intertwined with one. This is the Masonic checkerboard. The earth is not just a rock. It's not a rock. It has spirit within it. The tree is not wood. It has spirit within it, which is the life-giving force. The life essence is the spirit. The earth has spirit. You have spirit. Everything has spirit. But you have the ability to be conscious of the spirit within and raise your consciousness to the spirit. And that's exactly what the Sumerians is showing you here, with the animal, the ground animal, stepping upwards to the flying bird, the elevated bird, to the spirit. And that's what the Anunnaki is. Anu is the supreme god of the sky. The sky is spirit. The stars is spirit. And earth is matter. That's why Anu has a wife called Kai. The word Kai means earth. It's another word for earth. So Anu, the supreme god of the sky, who is a Sumerian living essence of the heavens, representing the vast and infinity of the sky. His divine counterpart, Kai, the goddess of the earth. Together, they gave birth to the Anunnaki. This is a symbolic story. Everything we see from the past, from the Bible, the ancient text of India, from the ancient Sumerian texts, this is all symbolic for you. The Anunnaki is you. You are Anu and Ki, spirit and matter infused. You are the Anunnaki. You are the heavens. You are the earth together. Okay, that is exactly what we're looking at here. All of these texts are encoded, talking about you. It's never about history. None of these things were right in history. The Bible was not history. The Sumerian texts weren't history. Anunnaki were not history. This is all symbolic for you and your consciousness, your spirit and your matter. The indwelling spirit and your physical body. The Holy Spirit, the white dove. White represents spirit. The pine cone. This is the Anunnaki god. The pine cone in the Vatican. This is the head. This is the dome. This is the pine cone, the receiver of consciousness, the receiver of spirit. You see the spirit, you see the pine cone on the Pope's staff. This is crucifixion. What does this symbolize? You must crucify yourself, crucify your body to the spirit through the pineal gland. Pine is pine cone, pine, pineal, etymological connected. You have the Freemasonic square and compass. Now notice something. You have the square on top of the compass. This represents the beginning of the Mason's journey, the beginning of someone's journey on their spiritual evolution, of their spiritual awakening. This is what we're seeing here. We're seeing spirit underneath matter, matter over spirit. Now, this one is the compass on top, which represents spirit over matter. This is the triumph. This is the ultimate state of consciousness when one has gained spirit over matter. Now, we also see other symbolism of Freemasons depicting one leg on top of the other, which represents balance over spirit, well, balance of spirit and matter. All of this will be available in the Book of Wisdom, Volume 2. This book is the next revolution of human consciousness. I cannot explain the amount of hours and work and research that has gone into this masterpiece. I'm not even going to call it a masterpiece. That is up to you whether you think it is a masterpiece. But I have put my heart and soul into this book. The amount of knowledge, over 230 pages of pure esoteric and occult knowledge that will blow your mind, that will make you feel so connected to the universe, because you're going to understand everything once this book is released. October the 8th is when you can get your copy. And if you are inside of the Ethereal University, then this book will be free for you. You'll get this book for free if you're inside my university. So I hope you all gained a great insight from this video, and I'll see you all in the next one. To another lecture of the Ethereal University, the real university. You should be happy that you are here. You are in the only place in the world where you can find exclusive content from me myself for free thinkers and connecting with people who are like-minded and understand and know there is a deeper aspect to life and this reality. And this video, this lecture that I'm going to be talking about today is the meaning of life. What is the meaning of all of this? Because essentially, I've philosophized that nothing should truly exist. Nothing should exist. The fact that something does exist means it's an intelligent design, and something has created this. So the meaning of life, when I look at the meaning of life, I look at things that are impossible not to do. What is impossible not to do in your life? It is impossible for you not to create. It is impossible. You are creating and manifesting every second, every millisecond of the day. You are creating. The consciousness that you possess is a creating consciousness. And when we have creation minimal in our lives, we fall into mental illnesses. Well, I don't say they're mental illnesses, but we get things labeled as depression, anxiety, and all of these other things. We have to create. As a human being, it is in our nature for every living species to create in some sort of way. We are always creating every second of the day. The mind is infinite potential. The mind cannot be filled. The mind cannot be full. You can't fill the mind. You could know everything about the universe and every little secret, yet your mind would not be full. It is infinite potential. Every thought you think has potential to become true. Anything you think in your mind is true in your mind. There is nothing that you cannot think about. You see the power of the mind now? Now that you understand it is an infinite potential. So when I say the mind is the universe is a giant mind, and we are all expressions of this mind. And when they say the universe is always expanding, it's the mind expanding into new information. The universe is mind, and the mind is always expanding. So creating is something that you cannot ignore. So you have to create something in your life. You have to create, you have to manifest, or else you will fall into some sort of mental problem. Learning is another one that it is impossible not to learn. Learning is the expansion of the universe. It's the expansion of mind. And every person you meet is a product of their mind. Where you are in life right now, whether you are very ahead, and I'm supposedly going to say, if you are joining this university, you are doing something right because it's not on the cheaper side to join this university. So wherever you are in life is a direct manifestation of every thought that you have thought in the past. Where you are right now is a product of all of the thoughts collectively. And all of them thoughts collectively has led you to this point where you are right now. So what does this tell you? Your life is a product of thought. Your life is a product of mind. Everything you see in your life is a product of your mind, was manifested from your mind, from thought alone. Okay? So that's a very important thing to understand. And you can never learn enough. The more you figure out, the more you realize you know nothing. And I say that I know absolutely nothing. The more you find out, the more doors that are open within the universe. The universe is an amazing place. You should appreciate being alive. You should appreciate that you are using the most advanced piece of technology on the face of the earth, which is the human body. It's so advanced. It's a piece of organic technology. It's so advanced. All of the systems are working together. We cannot replicate the human body. We can make rockets, we can make planes. You cannot replicate the human body. It is so advanced. It's so advanced. Limitation. This is a very important one. Physical reality limits our mind. Mind is infinite, like I explained earlier, and everything in the mind can happen in the mind. There is no limitation. When you are in the astral plane, there is no limitation. Depending where you are projecting yourself in and what realm you're projecting yourself into, there is no limitation. You can create worlds, and you do create worlds when you sleep. When you dream, you are creating your own world. When you are sleeping and dreaming, you are in fact creating a whole reality from your subconscious mind. And every character you see in your dream is an aspect of your mind. Did you know that? That when you are dreaming, there are hidden messages within your dreams because it's your subconscious mind coming to reality and showing you codes, showing you messages about your mind. So when the mind incarnates physically into a physical reality, there is limitation now pressed upon it. It's hexed. That's why I say you're hexed. You know, you're in the hex of Saturn. Saturn is the cube. Saturn's pretty much the computer running this world, based off my research anyway. And it's time. Saturn is time. So you are limited by time. You have a set time here. And you are limited by physical matter. And when you are in physical reality, you are limited from the things that you learn here. You are a product of your mind's information that you gather. If you gather the deepest and secret knowledge, then your life has less limitations than the one who is programmed, who has a programmed mind. And you are learning the limitations of the mind. You are learning the limitations of physical reality. When you are in the astral plane or the imagination plane, whatever you want to call it, you can manifest at the click of a finger. You want an apple, you click it, you think it, and it's there. That screen in your mind is the astral plane where you can imagine things. You can pull things up on that screen right now, and it will be there. However, in a physical reality, you now have to give energy and discipline. You learn discipline, you learn to give energy to manifest it into a physical reality. To manifest something into a physical reality is a lot harder than manifesting into an imaginary plane, in the astral plane. So we come here to learn discipline and limitation, and to find out how we function in a three-dimensional world of matter. Because essentially you were astral before you came here. And here's another one. Nature shows us truth. Open your eyes. You have day and the night. You have the sun, the conscious, the electric, boom, power, the sun, living. You have the moon. You have subconscious, the hidden one, the astral. So the sun represents physical reality. The moon represents astral reality, as above, so below. So what is this telling us? Well, is the end of another cycle. And the end of another cycle is just a new beginning. Everything is eternal. Your body is not eternal, but your mind is eternal. You have the cycle of the 4 seasons. Like I said, everything begins and ends, but the ending is just a new beginning. It's an infinite cycle of the universe, symbolized by the Ouroboros. This symbol has been used for thousands of years, depicting the end is a new beginning. When you leave the physical reality, you are now reborn in the astral reality. Have you ever died in a dream? I've died in a dream. In fact, this was the other day. I got killed in my dream, and I woke up in another dream, in another reality. And I knew it was going to happen. Like, as soon as I woke up, I just knew, like, I'm in another body now. You are eternal. You are a multi-dimensional being. And until you gain access to these higher planes, people, you will realize how powerful we all truly are. We are all multi-dimensional beings, and we all have immense power when we figure out how to use these minds of ours. These minds are very, very, very powerful. Very powerful. So this is a new page from the new book, the Volume 2 Book of Wisdom. We also come here for growth and expansion, like I said earlier, the expansion of the universe. The scientists, these paid scientists that, are paid to lie to you, they say the universe is always expanding. Oh, yes, it's mind. Mind is always expanding. Mind is always figuring out new information. The mind can never be full. It's always expanding. And the mind is the infinite potential. The mind is the universe. It's every substance you see around you is a product of mind. The squirrel, the dog, you, your mother, your family. It's all mind, all product. They all possess mind. They all share mind, and this mental plane is shared. And your reality is a product of thought, and this physical reality on a macro scale is a product of God's thought. Now, when I say we are God, we are a microcosm of God. God is within us. Now, I'm not saying that we are the creator of this reality. We did not design the human body. God did. We did not design the functions of the heavens. the order of the heavens and how the sun rotates around the earth. How it does that, I really do not know. The heavens and the sun and how they move is one of the biggest mysteries known to man. How does the sun truly move? How does it never run out of energy? How does it move? How does the stars move? What's moving it? What's the force behind it? Who is it obeying? It's technology. The sun is the most advanced technology ever, but that's of a whole nother video I can go over. But I'm not saying I am the one. You are the one who created this reality, who designed the human body and designed everything in this world. I'm saying that you can connect to the source within yourself. The source of life, the source of the universe is inside of you. And you can connect with it. And you are using that power of the source of the universe to create life, to manifest your will in this physical reality. That is the mind. The mind is God. So you have the day and the night, you have the left and the right. Everything is dual in this world. We learn duality. We learn the good and evil. And that's why I say the body, while the central nervous system is the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Why? Because the tree of knowledge of good and evil is this electrical nervous system you are experiencing this reality from. The central nervous system is giving you the knowledge of duality, of good and evil in this physical dual world. Your consciousness is experiencing the central nervous system. Without the nervous system, you cannot function in this world. You need it. This is why it's sacred. It's the tree within the Garden of Eden. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this video. Please contact me if you wish, for any lectures on anything you want. Give me a message. I'll create a lecture for you. And yeah, have an amazing day, people. Now, when it comes to meditation, the whole aim of meditation is to connect with the pure self and remove thought. If you are thinking, you are not meditating. This is a different type of meditation. So this meditation we're going to be talking about is connecting with higher consciousness and opening up new aspects of our consciousness and opening up our mind and entering in the mind. Because that is essentially what we are doing when you are meditating. You're turning your mind inward to focus on itself. Because when we focus on external things, where attention goes, energy flows. So when you are constantly, as we are going through our day, giving tasks attention, this is giving it energy. So when we shut the eyes and our mind is turned inward on itself, we retain our energy. We are retaining our energy, our vibration, and our etheric bodies and our electromagnetic aura is all focused on the self, and we are no longer giving energy. So that is another reason of meditation, of restoring energy. That is another form of meditation. But this meditation we're going to be talking about today is connecting with pure consciousness and removing all of the false self. Okay, so what you have here is consciousness. This is the eye, the all-seeing eye of consciousness. This is the real you. This is the symbol of you, the symbol of the observer. Okay, so this is consciousness. And inside of consciousness, we have mind, we have emotion, we have thought and memory. So thought kind of comes under mind, and so does memory. Memory comes under mind. So mainly you have two aspects of consciousness, mind and emotions. You have a thinking part of your consciousness, which is your mind. You have a feeling part of your consciousness, which is your emotions. You have a memory aspect of your consciousness. All of these things here exist metaphysically. These things are not physical. You do not think with your brain. You do not feel emotions with your brain. You do not see memories. You do not visualize memories with your brain. Your brain is a computer. It has no capacity of seeing metaphysical things. It is the consciousness that has the ability to project the screen in your mind, which is your imagination. Imagination is a form of memory. Imagination is another form of your consciousness. I forgot to add that. So all of these things exist in consciousness, not the brain or the body. The body is matter. The mind, consciousness is spirit, unseen. You can't place your finger on these things because they don't exist physically. You don't exist physically. Okay, so essentially, who you think you are, who you think I am, who I think I am, well, I used to, is that I thought I was my body. I thought I was my name. I thought I was my job. Most people identify themselves with this. They say, my name's Harry. I work in a warehouse and my family's this and my reputation, my issues, my bills, my worries. You identify yourself with this, but this is not you. And this is what is stopping your evolution and spiritual growth. This is what's stopping you from advancing mentally and expanding your consciousness. You can't expand your consciousness if you are identifying yourself with these material-based things, because they are not truly you. You existed before this body. You existed before the job. You existed before this physical avatar. Your body is just an avatar. It's a character you're playing in this world. You are the consciousness, the invisible, all-seeing eye, the invisible consciousness controlling this body. This body follows consciousness. The commands come from consciousness, the pure cause. So essentially, you have pure consciousness, which is you, the real you, the pure awareness, pure cause. And then this consciousness has now latched itself onto, well, your mind, the thinking aspect of your consciousness, has latched onto this character of your name, your job, your family, your experiences, your worries, your issues, your bills, your reputation. And it also has an emotional bondage to money, family, worries. It has all of these bondages. Your consciousness is bonded through mind, thought, and emotion. Now, this is why you have to reverse this now. You need to find your back way up to source, which is pure consciousness, pure cause. Now, what do I mean when I say pure cause? And you'll understand this later, because consciousness is cause, matter is effect. This world you're in is the world of effect. Everything you see is already manifested. It's an effect of consciousness. So essentially, you can't expand your consciousness to be, let's say, astral projection. Maybe this is stopping you from astral projecting, is because you have so many emotional and thought bondages. Your subconscious mind is latched onto this character you're playing. And you can't go into these higher realms of consciousness. You can't expand your mind if your mind is stuck in a three-dimensional way of thinking. So, like I say again, you have pure consciousness, you, the real you, with no programs, nothing. This consciousness is unconditioned. And then through life, you have conditioned this consciousness to believe your name, believe your job, identify with all of these things. And this is stopping you from growing. So what we need to do in meditation is to shut off and all of these bondages and unidentify yourself with these bondages. And the practice I do this is that I go through these one by one. First of all, before I meditate for 5 minutes, I will say, I'm here right now, nothing else matters. This brings your mind into the present moment. And when you say something for more than 90 seconds, your mind fully focuses on that thing. So keep repeating this for like 90 seconds or 5 minutes. I am here right now, nothing else matters. And while you do this, breathe in through the nose, breathe out through the mouth. Do this for 5 minutes and you'll feel a very nice calmness. Your mind will be in the present moment. You'll just be you, yourself, and your consciousness and your mind. Once you are there, you can then shut your eyes, or you can do it with your eyes shut. And then you now need to cast off all of these bondages one by one. You can, if you're very advanced, if you have a very advanced imagination and mental capacity, you can imagine this. But if you don't have a very advanced imagination, try this first one. So the first one, if you don't have advanced imagination, is to just list them. Say, I am not my name. I throw it away. Picture yourself throwing it away. Or just say, I am not the name. I detach from that. Then detach from your job. Detach from your family. Detach from your experiences. Detach from your reputation of other people's thoughts. Detach from your bills, your money, your worries, your car, your house. Detach from your clothes. Detach from absolutely everything. Once you've named absolutely everything, you then need to detach from the body and say, I am not the body. I am more than my physical body. And once you've detached from this, you are left with the mind. You're left with the mind, the thought. Once you are detached from absolutely everything you can think of that you identify yourself with, which is not truly you, that is thought. Once you are left with the mind, you may have a few emotions you need to get rid of, like money, family, any emotional connections you have, detach from them, detach from absolutely everything. And once you are left with absolutely nothing, you're left with the mind, you're left with this thought. Thoughts will just keep popping in your head when you're trying to meditate. And over time, the more you try to meditate, the more you can control this. But thoughts will constantly pop in your head, random things. You'll think about a random thought will come in about some rubber gloves, and then another one will come in about your car. It'll be anything. Random thoughts will come in. Once you're left with this, you then need to detach from the language your mind is using. Yes, that's the one thing that is left. Your consciousness is latched onto English or whatever language you can speak. Your little voice in your head, your consciousness, is using a language, and you need to detach from that language. And once you have detached from that language, you're left with pure cause. It's a flame. This is why the ancients used a flame to symbolize consciousness, because it's a flame. It's an ever-burning flame. Now, words can't describe what it is. You have to go there and find it yourself, because there's no words to describe something that it's not three-dimensional. So once you are left with this pure mind substance, pure consciousness substance, that's the only way I could describe it. That is the real you. That is pure awareness, pure consciousness, pure creative power, pure God, pure awareness, pure observing. This is the true essence of you. And you can only connect with this once your consciousness has casted off every single bondage. Because who you think you are is essentially a bunch of programs in your subconscious mind. Now, if you don't know anything about the subconscious, go and watch the Manifestation Mastery course. That tells you everything you need to know about the subconscious. But essentially, who you think you are is a bunch of programs. You've been programmed to think your name. You've been programmed about your family, programmed about your reputation, issues, worries. This is not you. You are consciousness. You are God. You are the God universal essence. You are the universe in the deepest aspects of yourself. Now, when I say you are God, I'm not talking about your body. I'm not talking about, this is why when people go crazy when I say you are God, because they don't understand that. They identify themselves with this name, their job, their worries, their cars and their family and their money. That's who they identify themselves. So they can't understand that. But when they detach from all of that, they're left with pure consciousness, and they realize everyone is this pure consciousness. It's inside of me, it's inside of you, it's inside of the squirrel. And this is God's consciousness. Now, Once thought has been removed, once activity, thought, and emotion has been removed, other aspects of your consciousness can start to open up. Now, what do I mean? All of your life, you've been thinking, you've been feeling. You've never had time to turn off the thinking mind and the activity of the mind of consciousness. Once this aspect of your consciousness is shut down, because thought is an aspect of your consciousness, it's the creative part of your consciousness. Once this aspect of yourself has shut down, it opens a door for new aspects of consciousness to come in. Okay? Because you don't think thoughts, you receive thoughts based on your mindset. That's what you set your mind to. So once you shut down thought and the mind aspect of your consciousness, there are new avenues of consciousness which start streaming in, new energy. Your mind opens up and you start to see different things. You may receive amazing pieces of information, downloads, what people call them, or you can have out-of-body experiences. You could have a mystical experience, because when you meditate long enough and you enter that, you enter very, very deep into your mind, you no longer feel your body. And if you never experience that, then listen to the gateway tapes in the meditation section of the university, because them gateway tapes will help you get out of your body. Guaranteed. They helped me. They're amazing tapes if you do them properly. But the best time to meditate, people, is in the daytime, because you don't want to be too tired. Unless you have very good willpower. If you have a very powerful mind and you're very advanced mentally, and you can hold yourself and you have mental willpower and you don't let yourself fall asleep, then do it at nighttime. But the best time to do astral projection or meditation or pure consciousness connection meditations is during the day, because you won't fall asleep. And that is the key, balancing between that theta and balancing in that theta brainwave state. Go into brainwaves on another lecture. So essentially, this is real you. You are nothing but everything. And now only people who have connected to consciousness can understand this. I can't teach you these things. These are things I can only point the way for you. You have to go and do this yourself. This is why Christians will forever say, that, I'm satanic or Lucifer, because they've never entered their own mind. They've been so scared. They've been made to fear their own mind. The church will tell them not to meditate because it opens their mind to demons. It's absolutely ludicrous. The only demons are just negative aspects of your own mind that you haven't faced yet. And if you're scared of that's why they tell you to be scared of the dark, because they don't want you entering in yourself. Because the power is inside of you. The power of creation is inside of you. You can bring a non-physical thought into a physical, tangible reality. Do you know how powerful that is? Every single one of us can do this. You've been doing it your whole life. Before you kick a football, there's a thought. There's a decision made in the invisible realms of consciousness. Then your body brings it into fruition, into manifestation. So essentially, I'm getting a bit off topic here, is you are this invisible consciousness and you need to connect to it. So once the thoughts and the emotions are gone, other aspects of consciousness open up. This is the key. And when you dwell in this place of no thought, this is why Jesus says in Matthew, take no thought 5 times. He says this 5 times to turn off the 5 senses. You have 5 senses you must turn off. Okay, so Buddha, this is why he has a big belly. He wasn't overweight, is because it's symbolizing breath work. The breath work, proper breath work, breathing into the stomach. Not just breathing into the lungs, but deep. When you breathe, you want to breathe it into your stomach. Breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. That's the proper way of breathing. And this is what it's actually symbolizing. So here's the Temple of Solomon. Jesus went into the temple of God. Okay. Matthew 21:12. Then Corinthians 3:16 says, do you not know that you are the temple of God? So the temple Jesus is entering is himself. Jesus entered into the temple of God. He's entering within himself. He tells you, do you not know that you are the temple of God? And then after he leaves the temple of God, he goes, I tell you the truth, not one stone here will be left on another. Everyone will be thrown down. What is this telling you? It's telling you that the building is not the temple of God. It's telling you that physical buildings of worship are useless. They're insignificant. Why are they insignificant? Because they will fall down. They will perish. Nature will perish buildings over time. It does not matter. The true temple of God is inside of you. There is no building on the earth that is holy. You can't connect with God in any building. God is inside of you, and you can connect to him in your bedroom, anywhere in the world, anytime you want, without paying any cents to the church or any pounds to the church. God is inside of you. Jesus never told you to go into church. Jesus never told you this. In fact, Jesus told you to go inside of yourself. Jesus, Luke 6:6. When thou prayest, what's praying? Praying is connecting to God, which is meditation, the true praying. When thou prayest, enter into thine inner chamber, and having shut thy door. That is straight up meditation. Without a doubt. Enter into the inner chamber. What's the inner chamber? Your mind. The inner self. Enter in your mind, turn your mind inward, and shut the door. Having shut thy door. What is the door? Shut off the outside world, shut off the data of the five senses, shut off the body, shut off thought, shut off emotion, shut off everything, and you are left with pure consciousness to connect with God. That is God. Connecting with yourself, connecting with the true source of you. The same spark inside of me, it's inside of you, it's inside of the dog. But the reasons why humans are so powerful is because humans have the ability to expand their consciousness to God and to understand the universe. Humans are made to understand very, very, very complex things. We have been given the tools to awaken to our divinity. No dog, no animal, no bird, no insect has that ability to wake up to their divinity. They have no self-recognition. They can't look into the mirror and see themselves and reflect. They can't look in the mirror and say, I need bigger muscles. I need to improve on this. I need to improve on that. Dogs look in the mirror and think nothing. They live on instinct. They live on physical. That is it. They live purely based off instinct and purely based for survival. Humans, however, we can surpass this survival state and rise our consciousness to higher levels of consciousness beyond our survival state. This is why humans are made in the image of God, because we possess spirit and matter. We are Anu and Ki. Anunnaki. You are the Anunnaki. Anu above, Ki is below. You are heaven and earth together. You are spirit and matter together. Everything is spirit and matter together, but you possess the consciousness to recognize this, which is unlike any other animal. Humans can build very, very complex things. Yes, don't get me wrong. A spider, very, very intelligent. Animals, very, very intelligent. They can manipulate, they can create very powerful and very complex things that maybe humans can't create, like a spider, for example. We can't create spider webs. It's impossible for us to replicate that substance. But spiders can. However, they can only create based on survival needs. They use their creational power just for survival. Humans can go and create anything we wish. The earth is the playground. And we've been given the tools to awaken to our divinity, to find out, to connect with God, to see what God is. And everything in this matrix is to suppress this, is to keep your mind so entertained that you will never figure out what you are, where you are, and how powerful you truly are. You are God made flesh. You are Jesus Christ. Now, Jesus Christ represents a high state of consciousness that everyone can reach. Jesus said in the Bible, everything I can do, you can do better. Jesus never said to pray him, to worship him. He says, I and the Father are one. The I am within you and the Father, God, are one. You and God are one. You see, so everything in the Bible is talking about you, how you level up your consciousness. Luke 11:5-2, Jesus says, for you have taken away the key of knowledge. You did not enter in yourself. Then he says in Luke 21:12, the kingdom of God is within you. 17:21. The kingdom of God is within you. So why are we praying to people in the sky? There's no sky daddy going to save you. This is all inside. You must turn off the mind, turn off the emotions, turn off the senses, take no thought 5 times. You must do this to connect with God, opening up your consciousness. Okay? This is how we escape. This is how you get rid of it. Depression doesn't exist. Depression, anxiety, it doesn't exist if you turn off the mind. That's the most powerful thing. If you turn off thought, you can't be depressed because there's no thought, there's no emotion. And this is the key. Now, you might not do this the first time. It's going to take weeks. It's like learning how to type quickly on a keyboard, learning how to play football. You have to keep doing, showing discipline and consistency. Over time, you will start to take control of your thought. And once you can shut off that mind of yours, if you do this for long enough, you'll gain such a strong mind that nothing external can bother you. Nothing external can influence your internal state. And that's where the power is, controlling the mind, controlling the emotions. And once you gain control over the mind and over full aspects of your body and consciousness, you're no longer being controlled by your emotional urges. You're no longer being controlled by the 5 senses for food, for sex, for lust, for anything that is low-level pleasure. Once you have full control over your consciousness and your body, you then retain all of this energy, which you can manifest and place into other aspects of your life to accelerate that aspect of your life. This is why occultism is so powerful. This is why we're not taught this. Because once you stop wasting your creative power on sex, on watching dirty websites, on overeating, on dopamine, TikTok, and Instagram, once you retain yourself from all of these things, you're then left with all of this powerful creative energy and this mental energy, mental capacity to accelerate and charge into aspects of your life to grow and become successful and to become a person, to become a powerful person. This is why we're not taught this, because if we were all taught spirituality, mentality, and we all refrained ourselves from these negative low-level pleasures, which are made popular in today's society, we would have a complete different world. The world would be great. Everyone would be on a path of self-mastery. And this is the whole point of occultism. It's all good knowing about this stuff, but if you're not applying it into your life, then you won't get anywhere. You have to gain control over your mind, over your emotions, over your body, over your senses. And once you do, you then have full control and full, what's the word? Full potential. You then have full everything, which you then can place your attention on exactly what you want. And that's the power of self-mastery. And it all starts with meditation. Meditation is the gateway to controlling your mind. It is the practice of controlling every aspect of your life. Once you do this every single day without any excuses, you turn up every single day for at least half an hour to 45 minutes. You shut off the thought, you shut off the emotions, you shut off the five senses. You have full, over time, you'll gain full control of your mind, full control. And once you have full control of your mind, that's when you have power. That's when you gain the power. No one can stop you once you have full control of your mind. And this is what they've done. They've externalized the devil. They've externalized Satan, saying the devil's tempting you. No, it's the lower aspect of your mind seeking low-level pleasures. That is Satan. Satan is an aspect of your mind. It's a psychological myth. It's a psychological allegory about you and your psychology and your mental space. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Meditate every single day. I don't care if you can't do it the first week or 2 months. You turn up every single day. You discipline yourself to sit in peace and quietness and take